So today we're playing with kimchi again. Now we've already made a lot of kimchi videos. Each time we do kimchi, I like to make an experiment or two. And I'll just focus on the things we're doing that are different. Well, one of the things we're doing different is we're adding chile coyote, which we have done before so we know it works. But this is going to bulk things up a lot. Also, I can grow tons of these with no irrigation and no fertilizer. Like I can grow way more of these than we could possibly, even with a big group of people. So I'm going to use half of this one and add it. We're going to peel it because the rind is really thick, and I'm not going to add the stringy stuff on the inside. I'm just going to add the flesh. I also have my machete here because chile coyotes are really strong, so we're going to machete this in half. That'll also give us a chance to do some more experimentation on ways to cook chile coyote. The other thing I'm going to do is make a really spicy kimchi. Now, I've made kimchi that's regular, you know, like sauerkraut doesn't have any spices in it. So I make a kimchi that doesn't have even any spice, any peppers, and that's for people who don't like peppers. And then I've made ones that are spicy-er. But I know that some Korean kimchis are so spicy that you can barely eat them. The first time I tried kimchi a long time ago, I found it inedible. It was in a little jar that was super powerful. Well, that's different than the kind we're making here normally. So I want to experiment with one that's painful for a normal person to eat, and the crazy people that like really spicy will love it. As far as other experiments, in the past, there's been various ways of making kimchi, and you can weight vegetables down and put it in salt overnight, and the liquid in the vegetables will automatically come out. I haven't done that, but my chili companion over here, Sherilyn Sunflower, has done that. And then what we do here normally is we massage the vegetables with salt, and that's kind of starting to break it down a little bit and just getting it going. I'm going to do one where we don't massage it at all. We don't wait overnight, and it's just going to be vegetables cut up in a thing. That will mean I'm adding a little bit more water to cover it, and so I'm probably going to do a little more salt than normal. Usually our kimchi has 3 tablespoons of salt per kilogram of vegetable matter, so I might go 4, maybe even 5 on that one, just to make sure I don't get weird molds and things. So the experiment isn't totally pure, but I'm trying to make the process simpler. And if this kimchi, this less work kimchi, ends up being equally good, then I can take an entire step, the massaging of the vegetables, and skip it entirely. We will also be continuing the process that we experimented with last time of inoculating the new kimchi with liquid from the old kimchi. That old kimchi has the bacteria or whatever it is, it's all filling in there. It's very active culture. And what we think happened on the last one was that the ones we inoculated fermented much faster. And that's not totally important. It works anyway without inoculation. But if we have good kimchis, we really like the mix, you know, and there wasn't mold and stuff, then we're adding those microorganisms in and we're speeding it up. Also, I'm starting to think about production level kimchi, like setting up a system where we're producing lots more of it. To do that, then, I do care about speeding it up by a day or two, you know, or half a week. The other thing that's going to happen very soon in the future will be I'll be getting rid of these. These were originally containers that I believe had vegetable oil, and what I don't like is that at the bottom of them, they're lumpy. They have this big divider in the middle for some unknown reason, probably to stack them or something so they don't fall over in shipping. Well, I'm going to switch instead to food grade plastic buckets. These are the kind of buckets that butter comes in. So I get them used from like bakeries. And what I like about those is they don't have the lumpy thing. They're thicker, they're round, they're super common, super cheap. I'm having in town a round glass thing made that will become the new weight for those, because the glass things we use now are square to fit in these. And these are kind of weak too, so they don't fit in quite as well. I just don't like these. So these are probably going to become like pots for plants later. So those are lots of changes. So yeah, join us. We're going to chop up some veggies and make some kimchi. So one idea for future batches of kimchi are to figure out what's the aesthetically most pleasing mix of colors we can have. And I would like to try the most colors we can have. For example, red onions and carrots add a lot of color, while the regular cabbage doesn't add much color. So we might go less on the cabbage, which I realize is usually the primary ingredient, and more on other things. We have used red cabbage in the past. That's also a great way to get color. And if I recall, that did not discolor the liquid. I would be against using beets in kimchi because I tried it and it turned all the kimchi completely red, and I want to see the individual colors of the vegetables. So we are using a grater here to grate things up. I think that's wonderful. It's great, especially on the apple. Ha, ha, ha. See, yeah, I get my pity laughs over there. It's great. The other options on doing this in more efficient or quicker ways, the thing most people would think of is, like, why aren't we using a food processor? Well, I don't have a food processor, but I'm not totally against the idea. I would have to make sure I had enough solar power, electrical power, to use it. And in general, I'm really suspicious of things that are motorized because they always seem to break. Or even if they need to be tuned up or serviced or I need to replace a part, it's just, I don't have a lot of faith in machines. And also they're noisy. But I know that's a good solution. What other solutions could we have?
I have a food processor that is non-electric at home in the States. And there's two different versions. One is a clamp onto a table, and the other is a vacuum cups onto the top of a table. So here you want the clamp version.
Right, we clamp it on.
It has, it's very simple and it's very easy to clean. Easier probably than my Cuisinart, which is the food processor that most people know and use, or many know and use. And it has a variety of different cones, each with separate blade options. So there's just like this, small grate, large grate, and things I've never seen before for different shapes and sizes. And it's so easy. You just it's a crank. You turn the handle and you stick in the veggies into the funnel, and that's how I do my kimchi at home. So even with an electric Cuisinart, I prefer to use the handle one. It's easier to clean up and it's just as easy for me to use.
And not as noisy.
Yeah, it's not noisy.
So we're talking kind of like a grinder, except it's a chopper.
Yeah,
It's a manual food processor. And the brand name?
I don't remember.
We don't know. Maybe there's more than one brand.
It's I believe old. Like I find the blades in antique stores and in different places. I'm sure there's a new version out, but the one that I was gifted happened to be an older version.
See, that's a case where I'm really interested because I don't like the noise of the machine. Crank sounds really easy, and you're just dumping stuff in and getting stuff out. And that's also a potential sponsor, so we should actually look up what are the best of those options. And I don't want a weak little one. You know, I don't want one for somebody's little home kitchen. I want one to use in a hardcore kitchen so I could be processing, you know, just kilos and kilos of vegetables. I like that idea a lot. The other option that we could have is a mandolin, and I actually have one in the house, and it's not the kind you play. It's a slidey board that has a very sharp blade on it, and you spike the vegetable onto something, you move it across this blade. That just scares me because I'm just imagining my fingers getting sliced off. And there could be good mandolins, I don't know, but the one I have, I'm scared of. So your idea, I think, is the best I've heard.
There are things with the mandolins, I know my friends that have them, instead of holding the vegetable, you actually are holding something else that you know, keeps it so that you can't hurt your
And that's what I have. You have a thing that stabs the vegetable and then you move it. I still don't like my fingers near those blades. Bothers me.
They're very sharp.
We're going to do some investigation on the best kind of hand crank food processor.
Non-electric, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. This is a chile coyote. It's a weird thing. I forgot the name of it. It's like a squash, it's like a melon. I don't know what it is, but we've had a lot of fun eating these. In this case, we have to chop it. This is a really hard thing to chop. And so this is an opportunity for me to work on my machete skills. If I was really cool, I would throw it up in the air and slash it like that app. I forgot the name of the app, but it's a fun vegetable slashing app. In this case, I'm not that cool. Sorry, I'm working on it. But I'm just gonna machete this guy, hopefully right in half, hopefully with one shot. Here we go. that was pretty good. Now we just have to decide which half we want to use in the kimchi. This is still quite a bit of food, so I think we should toss this one in there. You'll notice there's big black seeds in there. I'm going to keep those seeds so I can plant more of these. This is the easiest vegetable to grow here probably. And the stringy stuff in here we won't use so much. This stuff we'll use, and we'll get rid of the green stuff on the outside. Entonces, so I found a few more chile perrones than I thought I had because they're growing between the studio and the chicken coop. I totally forgot about it, but somebody else didn't. These are a perennial chile, and I want 1,000 of them here. You know, there's just no reason not to grow them. Now, the actual need here is very low because, you know, we can't eat them all the time. But this is how many we've got so far in this jar. There's a little bit more on the way. Alicia is cutting them up. She's not using gloves, but she's hardcore. She's saving the seeds in a bowl. By saving the seeds, I can make more little plants and have these chile perrones all through the forest. Now, this is quite a bit of chile for the kimchi. We're going to dump the rest of the kimchi in here, and after we crunch up the vegetables with salt. And I'm not going to, these won't be in that stuff there because when we get it in our hands and all that, I'm perfectly confident it'll work out. And I'm very excited about this. I've been wanting to do this experiment for some years, actually. Now, if I eat a piece of this, like if I eat this piece right here, it comes on pretty fast, and it lasts quite a while. This is a non-joker chile. Even with what I picked up right there, I now should not touch my eyes. She doesn't touch her eyes because she's done this before and she's not as forgetful as I am. So I'm going to go wash my hands, but you know what? Even if you wash your hands, you still could touch your eyes and have a problem. This is dangerous, dangerous stuff. We're now measuring how many tablespoons go in a full cup. The current theory is that 4 tablespoons would go into a quarter cup, which would make 16 tablespoons in a cup. Let's find out if that's true with Alicia. ¿Cuánto tienes en este, piensa? ¿Cuánto queda?
Es más o menos lleno aquí, ¿no?
Sí, ese es más o menos lleno.
Entonces, sí, yo solamente era para probar.
Sí.
Porque yo pienso
We're just testing.
que es 3
Okay.
por un cuarto. Entonces, estas son 12.
She thinks that it's 3 tablespoons for a quarter cup, which is what we thought last time. She just tested it, and she thinks it's 3 tablespoons per quarter cup, and she got 12 in here, which would indicate that the original thought was correct. So then the other person who sent the message, we don't know. We're so confused now. I'm going to go get a cookbook or something and trust no one. Also, why are we using space
I might be
things?
remembering the comment wrong and have done it the opposite, right? Like, who knows?
There could be 3 problems, or there could have been 1.
Many problems.
The point is, we don't know how much salt we're using in anything. I'm going to go grab a cookbook.
No, we do know. We're using 3 tablespoons per kilo because you did that in the past, right?
Well, we
And
know
it
what we
worked.
want to do.
Right.
If we measured in the past correctly,
Right.
that would mean we were trusting the past people.
Right.
So I don't know if I trust myself in the past.
I don't know either.
Entonces, si son 3 por cada kilo, es una taza por cada 4 kilos de kimchi.
Okay, so if it was 3 tablespoons per quarter cup, that would mean 12 tablespoons per cup. And since we're wanting,
Una taza por 4 kilos.
we would use 1 cup for every 4 kilos. 1 cup for every 4 kilos. I would rather figure out how many of something smaller we want for each kilo, because we're very unlikely to end up with 4 kilo units. So this is a process issue. Because then we have to, if we do it with 4 kilos, then we have to recalculate because we have something isn't divisible by 4 kilos. So I want to know.
You just do, if it's 3 tablespoons per kilo, right? You're just doing 12. You're doing a cup of salt per 4 kilos.
Right, but then we might
It's
want to
just
do
simple
like
math.
a cup and then a half a cup,
Right. If
depending.
it's more. Well, yeah, but.
Okay,
you
something
can
has
just-
to get adjusted somewhere. Whatever's happening is we're confused somewhere.
But the kimchi was really, really great.
And that's the great thing about kimchi is there's a range of how salty you want it. Now, it is interesting, in the last batch we did, one batch, and this is very rare, got extra mold on it. And so my belief is currently that perhaps, actually I'm so confused I don't know what I believe, but I think we might have undersalted the last batch. Also, it didn't taste salty at all. And I've made kimchi up to 5, I think I've made kimchi up to 5 tablespoons per kilo, and it was okay, it was a little salty.
I think that we did I think we salted the whole batch. I don't think we salted it separate. And I think potentially one of the containers might have been contaminated and we didn't clean it well enough. I mean, it could be
Right.
anything
Right.
to have too much. Also, there's often a skimming when you check it, and we checked 3 out of the 4 and not 4 out of the 4. So it
Right.
might have just gotten out of control
Right.
because we didn't catch it.
The one we didn't check was the one that had more, and you do kind of check things. Also, if there's a tiny bit of mold in your kimchi, it's no big deal. Just scrape it off and get rid of it. You can check the book Wild Fermentation, and Sandor Katz's thoughts on that. You can easily just take it out of there. It doesn't mean the whole thing is infected with stuff that's going to kill you. So, necesitamos hacer decisiones. We have to make decisions. How much salt do we put in this? First thing is we're going to weigh it. Let's weigh it. Let's find out what we got. So we're going to weigh the kimchi vegetables to find out what we got. We've gotten smarter, and so we wrote on this that what's called the tare weight. That's T-A-R-E. That's the weight of the container, so we can subtract that out when we calculate how much of this exciting vegetable matter we have in here. So let's weigh this. Vamos a pesarlo. Hazlo.
Es más de 10 kilos.
Okay?
Es más de 10 kilos.
Es más que 10 kilos. What? No. Oh, great. So my scale can't weigh more than 10 kilos, which is like 24 pounds or something, I think. Don't check my math on anything anymore in these. Well, you actually check my math for your amusement. So what we can do,
No.
is we can
Dirty.
remove some of it, right? Okay,
No.
so we'll remove enough so we get down to 10 kilos. We'll measure the rest and get the total.
Right.
And this is an equipment issue then, or a process issue, where as we develop a production system for making lots of kimchi, we will figure out how to do this in a more elegant way. For now, you can just laugh at us, but that's okay. We're going to win in the end. We're going to produce so much awesome kimchi that every person who wants kimchi in all of Michoacan can eat tons of it. At this point, kimchi is not famous in Michoacan, so the market for it's very small, but I'm going to increase that market because it's a great probiotic flavor thing, and we'll remeasure this guy. Va a caer?
No.
Seguro?
No.
It will if I poke it. All right, so what do we got? I'll edit this out, but this is actually the funny part of it, is to like not have it be perfect.
Right. Well, to show.
I don't like those cooking shows where everything is all perfectly organized. I mean, they're probably great. In fact, if you were cooking along with
But they're a
them,
lot
they'd be
shorter,
useful.
and people actually watch. More people probably watch them. That's why they do that, because it's a condensed thing.
¿Puedes poner un poco?
See? We didn't tear this bowl either.
No, demasiado.
We don't need to tear that bowl up. Oh,
Well,
we do.
but we
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We can
So
tear
we're
it
gonna need
afterwards.
another bowl, or we can tear it
We
afterwards.
weigh it first, we tear it
Yes.
second. Okay.
Ahí?
Yep, suficiente. 8.
Okay, so we have gotten to 8 kilos right here. That's 8 kilos for those of you who don't speak Spanish. And if you don't know the word ocho in Spanish, you've got serious Spanish problems.
Y este aquí.
So that was 8 kilos. Now we're going to weigh this bowl and find out how much it is. I'll write it down, but we're accidentally weighing the bowl as well because we don't have the tare weight on it. That's T-A-R-E. What's the weight of the container? And what's the weight?
Pero no pesamos el bolo, ¿sí?
That's
Yeah, close.
being controlled. ¿Cuánto es?
350.
Okay. So that was 2 kilograms and 350 grams without the bowl. Now we're going to weigh the bowl and we'll subtract that. Now I'm concerned that any math we do around here is suspect at this point, and I know my math is very bad. That's why I use spreadsheets for things. Okay.
Es
Now,
posible son
medirlo.
3 kilos en total.
Okay. She thinks it's going to end up being about
10
10 kilos in total.
Con muy poquito de menos.
Okay. ¿Cuánto es este? Bowl. Es un bowl.
Menos que 100 gramos. 80 gramos.
80 grams, okay. And so we're gonna do some math and we'll do, let's see,
Entonces son 2 kilos con 200 gramos. Yo puedo comerme 200 gramos y ya. Tienes 10 kilos y calcular 10 kilos. ¿Por qué no?
okay, 80 menos 35 es 45. Vamos a bajar 35 de este, entonces este es 1.9. Este verduras que pusimos era este. Entonces,
Pero no
este,
son menos que 10 kilos, chiquito.
en total es casi 10 kilos. Es 100 gramos menos que 10 kilos.
Sí. Mi plan
Sí.
es para hacer 10 kilos.
Ok, haz 10 kilos. All right, so Alicia is weighing things and moves some things around, and she believes, after all of this, that it is, in fact, 10 kilos of vegetable matter. That's like 24 pounds, maybe. And I think she's about right, and I'm not going to check all the math on it. I think we're in range, and now we'll figure out how many tablespoons or cups or something of salt to put in there to mash it up. Except, I'm going to steal some of this out of here and make a batch where we don't mash it up at all. And then we're going to have to recalculate the amount of salt for the part. No, we don't.
Voy a quitar esta de aquí porque siento que va a caer.
I only have to know how much I stole. No, I can just put the salt in here and then take out what I want before I mash it up. Everything is cool. I'm also going to steal a little bit for this one, but that can have salt too. This is getting easier. Despite this video, it's actually getting easier. Okay. Me gusta. Cosas. No hay problema.
Pero mira, en realidad,
Yeah.
todo de este,
Ajá.
la cubeta, pesa 10 kilos.
Sí.
Pero si vamos a
Oh.
quitar 250 gramos de la
Ajá.
cubeta,
Sí.
en realidad pesa 9 gramos con 75, 9 kilos con 75.
¿Con ese también?
Entonces, si yo voy a poner este,
Ajá.
el total va a ser casi 10 kilos.
Casi 10 kilos. Pero ese no es casi nada.
Este es 100 gramos.
100 gramos.
Sí, entonces va a ser
Ok.
de masa, de cosas sin cubeta, va a ser
Sí.
9 kilos con 85 gramos.
Ok, pero
850.
¿estás de acuerdo que vamos a decir que es 10 kilos?
Sí.
Ok, eso es lo que yo
¿Con
dije en el
todo?
video. Ya, con todo.
Sí.
Y es un poco falso, no importa. All right, we're almost 10 kilos, and everybody's going to be happy enough with that.
Y
Okay.
entonces vamos a poner 2 tazas con 6 cucharadas extra.
Okay.
2 tazas con 6 cucharadas.
Y este va a ser
Dos más.
tres
Por kilo.
cucharaditas por kilo. ¿Seguro? ¿Puedes decir esto a la cámara para checar después?
2 tazas con 3 cucharadas extra.
Okay, 2 cups
No,
with
6 cucharadas extra.
2 cups with 6 tablespoons extra of salt in the vegetable matter, and everyone will think it's good. Feel free to check our math. I don't know. I'm fine with it.
¿Sí o no? ¿Hazlo?
If you, yeah.
¿Hazlo o no?
Hazlo.
¿Qué?
Chistoso.
¿Por qué?
Porque somos, you know.
Pero es matemáticas básicos, no necesitas hacer muchísimo.
She says it's a basic math. We don't have to think that much, but we,
That's so true.
well,
Yeah,
except that
we definitely don't.
we've messed up at some point something. We don't know
Well,
what.
but you already mentioned how we messed it up, right?
But we could be messing it up again for all I know.
But
I don't know.
why do you have to measure the tablespoons if you already know how much is in there? If you know there's 12 in there.
That's a good question. ¿Por qué necesitas medir eso si tú sabes cuánto hay aquí?
Porque es 6, no.
Oh, she's doing
no,
6. She already did the full cup. She's
Y
doing
ya
the
no sé
6
cuántos.
extra.
Yeah.
So-
Just make sure it's,
Entonces es la mitad de taza, pero no sé cuánto es la mitad de taza. Aquí. Es posible aquí, ¿no? En la línea.
sí. Or
Or
a half
puedes
cup.
usar media taza. And
Right.
I should probably mark on these what they
Yes,
are
you probably
because
should. But this would be, you know, the next one up is a half cup, and this is going to be 3/4 of a cup. There's usually just 4. They usually don't
Sí,
do
es en la
3/4 of a
línea,
cup.
mira.
okay,
Un poco arriba de la línea.
great. Let's dump that shit in there.
And then you were gonna not, you know, like rub it,
Right.
and you're gonna add more water. So
Right. So I'm not going to massage this, but I still have to mix the salt in, and so I have to mix it a little bit, and then I'm going to take part of it and not grind it in. I'm going to steal that for my test batch to see what happens if we do almost no work, and I'm going to steal a little bit that I could massage or not. I think I'll have the massaged one for the pepper one because we know that works. So there'll just be the single other small batch that we didn't massage at all to see what happens if we skip that step entirely.
and then you're adding a brine on top of that.
And I'm going to add some infection, and I'm going to add extra water. I may add a little extra salt just because I'm nervous about it. And we have this range of salt option from 3 to 5. So if I add a little extra salt, whatever, I'm not that worried about it. I'm going to end up with something that is highly edible and tasty for me, but people that don't like spices aren't going to eat it at all. Did I miss anything there? So, it's a messy process. We did some checking on some things because I weighed these with a tare weight, figuring out how much these weigh on this scale, and I weighed on this scale and it's completely different. That means that the scale we used in the last batch to weigh the vegetables is off by a certain amount. It's not calibrated correctly. Mal calibración. And tú piensas es incorrecto por cuántos gramos?
350.
We think it's off by 350 grams. Now, in the big picture, the bigger the batch, that matters less. Again, kimchi is very flexible, so the amount of salt you use is variable. But we could then try and figure out, okay, we're off by 350 grams. All the videos we made, well, the last one we made is very wrong. This should get recalibrated. We would have to move these weights, which they're stuck on there, so we'd have to go get tools for it. So it's easier for us to recalibrate our brains, this is probably true for society in general, than to fix this at the moment. So, ¿qué vamos a hacer? What are we going to do?
Okay. El punto es que tú pesaste esta tina
Yes.
con el error de esta báscula.
Probably.
Entonces,
So this
en-
tare weight's wrong by 350 grams, probably.
Entonces ya está, porque en esta solamente estamos reduciendo 250 y la tina en realidad pesa como 1 kilo más o menos.
Es
O
posible.
700 gramos.
700 is más correcto.
Sí.
So maybe this is 600 grams here.
No lo noté.
600 question mark. I'll put a question mark on it because I trust no one and nothing.
7.
And that includes me.
7. Pero el punto es que ya
Oh,
lo pusiste
700
y odio
grams.
que se marque.
700 grams, maybe. Trust nothing. So we think tal vez.
Pero entonces ya está pesado, porque nosotros pesamos
Lo que hay
lo
adentro.
que hay adentro.
So we still ended up weighing the vegetables inside, so that's not that important. Interesting.
Entonces,
Wow.
si vamos a sacar 1 kilo aquí, necesitamos 150 y vamos a pensar que este pesa 150, no
Well,
más.
this is correct. This is correct.
¿Qué es correcto? ¿600? Sí,
Este
pero
es
en
correcto.
esta, si vamos a usar esta, vamos a usar un poco el sistema de esta máquina.
Okay.
Entonces, en esta pesa 150.
I hope this is amusing. Okay.
Entonces, aquí lo único que tienes que hacer es revolver un poco,
Right.
sin mucha presión,
Sí.
y después sacar 1 kilo aquí.
Sí,
Y
me
después
gusta.
en cada uno 3.
Y
¿Estás de acuerdo?
podemos ponerlo aquí. Okay. So we're still on track. A little confused, but everything will work out all right. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to mix this up a little bit. I'm going to wash my hands. This is not a perfectly clean process. I don't have a stainless steel kitchen, but I am at least going to wash my hands and not put any dogs in the kimchi. All right, so without massaging it, I'm going to try and move the salt to be sort of mixed in. Now, that's a little bit tricky. It's going to end up getting massaged a tiny bit in the process. But that's okay. It's not quite the same as what I did before, which is really mix it in. Also, since we're only doing 3 grams, and we can, 3 tablespoons of salt per kilo, I still think that we can add some more. I think on the really spicy one I make, I might also just add some extra salt for fun. These are not perfect experiments, but that's okay. We always end up with edible kimchi, except maybe for my freaky kimchi that I did in the past. We'll do a taste test on that. So, es suficiente o poco más, no? Yeah, so I'm going to mix it up a little bit more. There's some apple in there. Also, we are mixing up the ingredients here as well, because I want to make sure that those are mixed up nicely. We're doing 2 batches here, one of which I'm going to be the last one. No. Right, no, I'll take some of this out and I'll put it in a thing that isn't massaged at all, and then I'll have my spicy one as well. So, we're doing okay here. So, this container weighs 600 grams, but we zeroed out the scale. So whatever I put in here is going to be whatever it is, and we'll measure that. This is the batch that isn't going to be massaged. This is a great experiment because I would like to make the kimchi process easier, and I think the massaging process is actually useless. That's my current theory. I could be wrong. I've already been told today that I'm a dumbass because of this. Not in those words. But I'm going to put in some vegetable stuff, okay? Here we go. ¿Cuánto tengo?
Hasta ahí 500.
I have 500 pesos, 500 grams.
800.
800.
1 kilo.
1 kilo.
¿Un kilo suficiente?
1 kilo tal vez es suficiente. I mean, es un experimento, ¿sí? Y no somos seguros. Entonces con este yo voy a poner, so with this amount, I have 1 kilo only. That's very, very, very little. I could do a little more. ¿Debo poner un poco más?
Yo pienso sí para que tape esta parte.
Okay. I'm going to put in 1.5 kilos, tal vez.
Okay.
1.5 kilos, maybe.
Falta mucho más.
Okay.
Un momentito. 1.5 kilos.
Okay. It's going to be 1.5 kilos. I'm going to cover it with water. I might add a tiny bit of salt, but this is going to be the experiment. We'll label this bucket as the one that was not massaged with salt. And that's a big experiment. I've already been told it won't work. Fine, I'm going to try it anyway. That's what I'm doing. Okay, entonces es este. Perfecto. Ya voy a amasarlo por todo el resto, okay? So, this is my non-massaged vegetables. I had to add like 300 grams of water, which is a fair amount. I'll put the top in there, and the top is such that it goes under the water. I have a little bit of vegetables on top, which I don't like, since those could more likely to get infected. I'm going to add a little extra sprinkle of salt, which is more than just a sprinkle. I'm going to do that because I put so much extra water in there that I'm concerned that the ratio and everything is off, but that's okay. I'm recording on this piece of paper and have some tape somewhere, so we'll tape that on here. And my hope is that what I'm going to prove with this semi-scientific experiment, I'm going to show that you don't have to massage the vegetables. Now, the thing that gave me this idea was that another person just left the cabbage weighted in some salt overnight, and liquid came out of them. So, and then the rest of the vegetables she didn't massage at all. And that was a surprise to me. I was totally surprised. Now, here's my tape. And so, if that works, that means that the massaging process that is going on right here with Alicia is completely unnecessary and a waste of time. And that helps me make the process more efficient. Now, there are people that don't think a lot about efficiency in processes. I do. I care a lot. Oh, I'll put the date on here too. You're laughing at me. Everybody laughs at me. They all think I'm a dumbass. Well, I'm not. I will win in the end. Genius and being a dumbass are similar. So this is January 4th, 2019. And now we'll just cover it up, keep it nice and protected, and see what happens. If I'm successful, then it means I can cut out this whole process entirely. The bacteria will do the work. In many processes we have, especially as we explore alternatives in life, people do extra work that's completely unnecessary. And they're not thinking efficiently enough because they're crafters. They're thinking small scale. I'm trying to solve problems at a worldwide level. I want to know how we ferment vegetables at the big scale for billions of people. Billions of people. So I'm going to go put this guy away, and I'll cover it up a little bit. Okay, so we're using batch 1 that was done on December 16th. That wasn't that long ago, since it's now January 4th. But this one's still bubbling. It's a very active culture. So I'm going to use this metal spoon, which we found out doesn't damage the kimchi. When they say don't use metal with kimchi, what they mean is that it's going to damage the metal. I'm going to lift this glass thing up, and I'm just going to dump this in here, and I'm going to spread it out a little bit. I think I'll put 2 in. Okay. I'm going to spread 2 in. She's clearing the vegetables off the top of the glass, which is handy because we really want all the vegetables to be pressed down in it. I don't think it has to be like pressure. It's just a matter of keeping it under the liquid. So anything above it is more likely to mold and cause a problem. So we now have infected kimchi with extra water. This was that same experimental batch. I just forgot to infect it.
¿Cuántas? ¿Una?
Yo puse dos o algo.
Okay.
I think I put 2 of them, whatever. And it could be we could do later experiments. This would be really fancy on seeing how much inoculate to add. It could be that we would want to add a larger amount for even faster kimchi processing. I think that's getting a little bit picky, but as we become experts, as we decide what the best process is, we're going to want to question that. We're going to experiment around what we think the perfect solution is, because I want to come up with the perfect solution. Are we ready now? I think so. The only thing we're going to do is take this inside. We'll cover it with a cloth. I would also like to put a glass on it or something. Heck, in this case, I could even put a book on it or something. So off you go to the dark, cool place to mature. So we're working on my really hot one now. We're gonna dump the hot chilies in there, and then we're gonna dump the veggies in there and mix it up a little bit. That's just so there's not too much chilies in one part of it. I'm not too worried about it, but it's fine.
200.
You have 200 grams of chilies. Great. And you want to put some of that in there.
¿Suficiente de batido?
But we don't know how much to fill this. No sabemos cuánto para llenar
Más o
este.
menos yo sé.
Okay, yeah, hazlo.
Pero este no necesita que esté adentro, como algo que presione.
En teoría sí, pero también podemos dejarlo aquí y poner más líquido arriba y va a quedar más o menos bien. So she's asking if we need to put some glass thing to weight it down. I'm just thinking we'll put enough liquid to cover it up and we'll inoculate it heavily. It'll work out fine. It'll probably ferment really fast. One problem is that this one's going to be probably a longer lasting batch since we're not going to eat it as quickly. If we had a lot of people, they would eat a little bit, but nobody's going to sit around and munch a bowl of this stuff, I don't think, unless they're really tough. So, yeah, that's good. And if we have, si tenemos, I don't know what language to speak half the time. If we have too much peppers and we can't fit all this in there, we'll put a bit in there and it'll be a little bit spicier. That's fine. We still have non-spicy kimchi left over from before. Even though I think everybody should like spicy stuff, some people don't. I respect that. That's cool. So we should always have a variety of gradations of spicy, maybe 3, like really spicy like this for crazy people, and then really non-spicy for boring people, and then moderately spicy for good people. Not to be judgmental. All right, ¿te gusta? Y necesitamos algo para ponerlo dentro de esto o vas a ponerlo aquí. Whoopsies. Okay, aquí. All right. ¿Tú tienes?
Le puse extra que necesito.
Sí, está bien. Y vamos a regresar a la otra parte de aquí y nadie va a conocer, exceptamente cuando tienen pedazo muy fuerte. Yep, es suficiente. Oh, poco más. And I'll go ahead and inoculate that right now. And I really am interested in tasting this one.
¿Seguro no?
I'm going to put 2 in here as well. That's a lot. But it's going to ferment really quick, I think. And this one's actually bubbling. That is so cool. And the flavors of these are going to change over time, which is very exciting. I'll top this off with a little bit of water. And the rest of this is going in here. See? Ponlo. Yep. And everything will be cool. Alright, so we're dumping the rest of the vegetable matter into these 2 guys. We can easily get enough in both of them and fill them up. We could probably just use 1, but there is also the idea of dividing the risk of having fungus in any one of them. We just lost one in the last batch due to that. That could have been to various measurement problems in the amount of salt. So I actually don't know if the last things we said about how much salt per vegetable there was valid. I don't even know on this one. That's okay. It still works out. But we have a lot of work to do to make this process more scientific. We're almost done with this process now. I'm just going to inoculate these guys right now while it's still in process. There we go. I'm only dumping in like 2 of these things. Maybe I'll dump in another one when it's totally full, just to get it going. And then I'm stealing the liquid out of this really nice jar of kimchi. And so we might have to eat some kimchi right after this. That would be awesome. And wow, we're going to have a lot of kimchi. I think that's it for us on this video. Thanks for joining us. I thought it was going to be a really short video because we theoretically know what we're doing, but it's obvious we don't. That's all right. It's all part of the process. All right, so we're almost done. We were done. We had a couple more things to try. This was a couple things from December 12th. This was a big hunk of carrot stuck in here as an experiment to see how far in the fermenting process goes. I don't see a whole ton of visual difference. The color's still awesome. This is also not very old kimchi. And we have other pieces of carrot. This one's not going back in the batch. But I've got a piece of carrot in this one as well. Good. It's very crunchy inside, as expected. The outside is softer. You know how they make pickles? Well, this could actually be kind of a great snack like pickles. We could just ferment a big bin of carrots and they might become a little bit more tasty. And I'd like people to eat things that are not so processed. It'd be pretty easy to just dump a bunch of carrots into a brine. Or I guess you make pickles with vinegar, but whatever. ¿Qué piensas?
Es bueno.
Es bueno, yeah.
Pero, si voy a probar un pedazo de esto,
Oh yeah, that's a good comparison.
esto tiene más sabor a otras cosas.
Yeah?
Tiene mucho jengibre, ¿sí?
Huh, yeah, there's a lot of ginger in that batch.
Y este sabor es muy concentrado de zanahoria.
It has a very concentrated carrot flavor. Now I'm gonna stick this in this lady's mouth here, see what she thinks. So, ¿qué piensas de este?
Necesito enjuagar mi boca. ¿sí?
Yeah. Okay, she's gonna wash her mouth out. Wow, this whole table's a mess. All right, so let's try that out. There's a little piece of apple in there, I see. Dígame.
Tiene algo que
Yeah.
pica.
It has something spicy, that's true.
Como demasiado cebolla.
Okay, y no es súper bueno para poner tu boca en la cosa y después regresarlo. In general, and this one is dirty too,
Oops.
it's not really that great to stick something in your mouth and then stick it back in a kimchi. Let's get another spoon, okay? Otro cuchara, perdón, pero we gotta be, sort of civilized and think about microbiology and stuff like that and group dynamics and biological stuff. So that was not ideal. As we develop the systems here, I do care greatly about hygiene, things like that. In this case, it's not too important, but as we make professional systems, we need to think a lot about that. All right, so,
¿Te gusta?
entonces, mira,
Yo intenté para... No me gusta.
okay. So, entonces, pon un poco aquí, y
Yo
después
intenté para
comerlo.
no chuparla, solamente ponerla.
Okay, well, that's very smart, but not good enough. So, yep, that's great. And then, y dígame, ¿qué sabor tiene?
Para mi gusto, tiene un sabor muy fuerte de cebolla.
It has a lot of onion flavor.
Muy fuerte.
Sí.
En el resto está medio... O ajo, pero es ajo o cebolla, no sé qué es. Pero tiene
Garlic,
un poco
onion.
de extra.
Well, what this really is Brian's freaky kimchi, and it's not just the garlic or the onion because it has the same amount of garlic and onion as the other one. It's actually got all sorts of extra stuff. Oh, sorry, it does have extra garlic. Sí, hay extra de cebolla, hay extra de chile güero. It has nutmeg. 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 Nuez?
¿No es de macadamia?
No. Nuez que uso la cosa, la máquina, cosa.
No es moscada.
Nuez moscada. Nutmeg. It has banana, plátano.
Tal vez es el plátano el que da el sabor más intenso.
Maybe it's the banana. It has pimiento negro, clavos. It has mostaza y jengibre. Mucho. Muchísimo.
Sí, son las especias que dan un sabor más extra. Yo pienso El fermento de la propia verdura
Ajá.
es suficiente, ya sin tanto
Right,
extra
right.
de especias. O una.
Right. So she thinks it's not necessary to add so many extra spices, or maybe just add one. But that's not what Brian's freaky kimchi is about. It's about too much stuff. Pero es comestible, ¿no?
Con
No.
otras cosas. Solo tal vez no, porque es demasiado sabor en tu boca.
Es como, más como condimento.
Sí, como condimento está bueno.
Pero no es guacala. Okay. So mas, you could use it as a condiment, but Brian's freaky kimchi surprisingly is edible, at least by some people, and I like it just fine. But if we test lots of types of kimchi, we're going to have to think about marketing and what's most popular with most people, and then make a couple specialty ones that people can enjoy because they like that particular thing. Probably we won't do a lot of experiments like this where we just go kind of crazy with it. So that's your extra part of the video for those who hang in there a long time. Don't forget to comment and love it. We are having fun, but we're having fun for you. Bye.